Well,
good evening. You all right, mate?
Evening. I am good, yeah. Do you know what it is? Every time I hear that sound and I think about how old I'm getting, I'm thinking one day I'm going to actually hear that for a few seconds and then that'll be it.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I was thinking when I was putting the picture on the show last night in the background, we're going to have to change that intro now because Newcastle's season isn't flatlining anymore.
No. But let's not jinx it. We'll leave it there for now, just in case.
So,
how are you? I haven't been on. I haven't seen you really for ages and ages.
I know it's been. I think it's been what, 2 weeks since we've been on together. I think
2 weeks. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, long
yeah,
time.
well,
but,
as you can tell me, I've got the electric back on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That show the other week, just in the dark, was no good for anyone.
No, it wasn't. No.
All joking aside, that is mental. Like we've obviously had a storm this week, last few days, and it's still blowing a hoolie out there. But like you were literally without electric for a week in the northeast, like that. Like surely that's unheard of. Like
we couldn't live in the house for 4 days. We had no electric or anything. So we got electric fire, electric cooker. We literally had nothing. It was like an ice box. Literally the whole house. We had nothing.
That's crazy.
So, but unfortunately, because there wasn't room for me at the in-laws, I had to stay with the dogs on a night time in the icebox. Unfortunately, so it wasn't nice. But look back normal. And
very good. Yano is right. Yeah, return the A team. Yano, you're right. Right. Look, let's get some people on, and we'll get this kicked off. So let me just get rid of that one. So we have got one of our normal voices, who comes on to chat, and I did tell him pre-stream that he will be timed because he does go on a bit. That's all these Americans do. So welcome, Chris A, our Matters co-partner. Thanks very much for coming on.
Evening, Chris.
And then I will also like to introduce Jade, who is a first-timer, who, in fairness, tweeted me and sent a DM a few weeks back, wanted to know a couple of questions about YouTube. And I met up with her on a video chat about a week ago, and she's was really nervous about doing that, so she's probably going to be shitting it now. So she has grabbed a beer. But we'll bring her on. Welcome, Jade, on your Loaded and your Live Line debut. Welcome.
Hello, lads.
All right, Jade, nice to have you on board.
I am shitting it as well. You're absolutely right.
Nah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Chris will go easy on you.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a common beer to go with. So what we'll do is we will start the topic.
You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait, man, because we've got another guest in the green room who wants to take part tonight. We have. We have. The fantastic.
Hang on. It's the Colonel. The Colonel is with us.
Yes.
Right, let's get him on. David, welcome, sir.
Hiya, how are you doing, guys?
I'm
all right. How are you, David?
How are you?
I'm not
the
bad.
Legend.
Good man.
Now I'm fangirling.
Oh, okay. Go on then. There's no need, but you know.
Hang on a minute now. It's our show, and even we didn't get that. What's going on?
I know.
I've already spoke to you.
Yeah, you did. You did. Right.
Nobody's worn off as a Jade.
Richie, let's get our first picture up to start the ball rolling, and then we will let these guys have their say and their view. So, first thing I want to float up, you can probably see it in the background, but let's get that pick up. Richie, have you got it?
I certainly have. There's that one, which obviously brought our attention this week. But also, as you can tell in the background, as Martin was just saying, we've also got the updated picture that was put in the Chronicle tonight of a lovely picture, which you can make out there is no Sports Direct signs anywhere in the ground, not on the East Stand, nowhere to be seen. And for once, St James's Park looks magnificent, especially with all the floodlights on the pitch. It's starting to get dusk in the background. I don't know about you, but that's a phenomenal photograph. What does everyone else think of that and the developments of the Sports Direct's signs being taken down in the last few days? David?
There's only two words, lads. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Just that's it. Just absolutely fabulous. Nothing else on that, was it?
No, it's just we've waited 14 years to see the back of them now they've gone, and I literally cannot wait for the next home game to get there and just take loads of pictures of them damn signs there. So, and it's we've exercised the horror that was the Ashley era.
Do you think that
was one of the things I was going to say? That was what I seen. One of the things today, someone said the sign at the front, the players' entrance and the main entrance, that was the last little bit to come down there this afternoon. And I think it might have been Craig Hope, possibly Lee Ryder put it up. It's kind of like, it was like the final cleansing of, the Ashley era, so to speak. Now, there was something else that was floating around earlier on. I don't know how true it is or isn't, but I actually copped something on Facebook. Somebody that was on a tour today and had taken a picture, which was quickly taken back down, that on the roof of the Gallagher, there was a very, very big Castoria emblem on the front of the Gallagher. Now, I don't know whether that's something that has gone up, hasn't gone up. Maybe anybody that's watching or listening may or may not know, but that would seem something that's feasible to me. But Jade, what's your view? Signs come down. Is it the final piece of Ashley gone, or is there still more to go?
For me, it's the final piece. We wanted him out. We wanted Carney out. We wanted the stadium back. Seeing all those signs come down, it's just like that release. Because I haven't taken a picture or, with friends or myself inside St. James's Park since those signs went up.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere. Everywhere you look. You go down the tunnel at Tours, they're there. All up the walls, all down the sides. It looks horrible. It's like walking through a Sunday market. It's horrendous. So to see it gone, absolute relief.
Lovely. Chris, you're there. When are you there? When are you at the next game, Chris?
It's a good question. Probably sometime after the festive period, because I'm planning to get away to see my family back in the States at some point. Maybe not for Christmas, but maybe just after. Sometime maybe January, February. But yeah, my first reaction was it's about time. Good riddance to all those shite direct signs. I have a young nephews, and I've gotten them over the years plenty of Newcastle kit and stuff like that. But I've gone to great lengths to make sure that I'm not putting I wasn't putting money into the Sports Direct coffer. And I'm just glad that I can go forward and get my nephews some more gear that's not making Mike Ashley a little bit richer. Yeah. Exactly. And it's just a great thing to see. I hadn't from TV, maybe you don't quite see you didn't quite see all of the Sports Direct signs that were at the back of every row, but when you're in there, it's just hard to not notice, up until now, just everywhere you looked, as everyone has said, you can hardly take a photo. You can hardly take a photo without it being a Sports Direct in the background. And I'm just glad it's gone. And I think that the new owners will replace with new sponsorships, but it'll be sensible and it won't be garish, and it won't be 150 signs for one sponsor. So
very good. Fair
play to them, and I'm looking forward to that day when we actually have the money. I mean, obviously, it wasn't just the look of the signs, but to know that he put all those up there for nothing was going back to the club. So to know whatever goes up next will be going.
We'll get some revenue from 170,000 a year we were making from the Sports Direct advertising.
Shocking.
Directly into the club. So so he got he's had 14 years pretty much. So
well, to be fair, he was only paying £1 per sign in the ground for the pretty much, wasn't he? Because it must have been about 170,000 signs in the ground. So he was definitely getting his money's worth, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I've got to say I like Geordie Tune for Life. I think his is a great idea, which is the only Sport Direct signs he would have is in the urinals to give him a proper send off.
Yeah,
so
I'd agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Promote lads to use the urinals, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it would be a few. Just want to skip back there before we move on, and just welcome Gary Finnegan, who's just become a new member of the channel. So thanks very much for that, Gary. And we will shout it out later on. But just to tell anyone, if you're not, you can on the YouTube link and on our channel, you can join up. You can become a member. It's $1.99 a month. It helps me and Daz to eat because there's not much food in Ireland. No,
are you sick of potatoes already? Like,
don't mention potatoes. That's a touchy subject, lad. But yeah, it goes towards the channel. It helps us put a bit in the coffers towards the stream. It lets us keep doing what we're doing. So if you want to become a member, we'd love to see you do that and support the channel. It helps us carry on bringing content and having people like Chris, Dave, and Jade on to come and say their piece. So there you go. Thanks very much for that, Gary. Right, so we'll reverse it back around. So, Dave, we'll start with you again. What's your topic, or what do you want to talk about, sir?
I think my topic has got to be the positivity that we've got back right across the club that we haven't had for all these years, and even for the first few games of the season. I think the attitude of the fans, the players, the management team, the coaching team, all seems to be looking forward. And yes, we're second bottom, but I think that positivity will just keep on spreading. A couple of players are starting to play well now. I mean, obviously Joe Linton and Shelby, and that's what I love to bits, because I've had, I started going in 1969 and then I had seen tickets in 74. Hardly missed a home match. I didn't go away a lot for all sorts of reasons, but the last 14 years has just been doom and gloom, and I've almost gone to the ground because I've already paid. I didn't want to go, but now I can't wait. I mean, it's back to the sort of even the Kagan eras, and it's that excitement, and I think the whole thing's just looking really good, and I'm so pleased about it. And obviously, as you look at that picture, that made me smile. That bit of land behind the Gallagher end, if we can, or if the Rubens can buy that, extend the stadium, everything's going in the right direction. It'll be fantastic. So yeah, positivity for me. That's what it's all about. That
I think you're right. I think for me, that I think the biggest thing for me has been that that there's obviously been a massive upturn in some of the players, in particular like Joe Linton and Shelby, and I even had to bow to some peer pressure on Sunday and mention Lascelles, who had a decent game, to be fair to him. But I think with the positivity, I think the big thing for me is it sticks two fingers up to the journalists and to other fans that go, Newcastle fans are deluded. They haven't won a trophy. They've got notions above themselves. But actually, we don't. We're second bottom. We've only won one game. We're still fighting a relegation battle. We've sold out the next 5 games home and away. Mm-hmm. And people went out of the stadium the last 2 games, even with a draw, and then, the draw against Norwich and then the win at the weekend. And everybody was like, I actually don't care. I'm just so happy.
No.
So I think it's nice. I think that we're able to show that we're not deluded. All we've ever asked for, which has been floating around the club for years and years, even when I was able to get to the games, which is we just want a team that tries. We're not clamoring for much else. We just want players that go out there and play for that black and white shirt.
I agree, and I loved some of the comments that went back to some of the so-called press experts that we're not deluded. We're just happy somebody cleaned the windows. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think Cesare's piece there says, quite honestly, it's like we got a new stadium. It's beautiful. It's like your mum's special friend moved all of his stuff out the house, and it's starting to look like a new home again.
Good one,
so,
Cesare.
Yeah, I think that's not too far out, Cesare. So well done. Jade, what's your view on the optimism from Dave's point? What do you think's happening? Are we on an upward turn, or where are we at?
I think we are. I think we are. You can see it. The last few games since Eddie Howe's come in, you can see the change. You know, the passion from the fans. You know, it lasts now the whole game. As soon as, you know, something doesn't go our way, the crowd would go quiet. You can feel the tension. It was horrible. The atmosphere was horrible. It was. Whereas now, you know, there's still that optimism that someone's going to make a ball, someone's going to make a run. You know, Joe Linton, you know, with his challenge, shoving up to the face of the Burnley player, you know, it just riled everyone because it's that kind of oomph now that the team is showing that's giving the fans a bit of something, and everyone's feeling it. There is a new euphoria around the place. There's a new hope. I definitely believe we're on the up. I reckon we're going to beat Leicester.
There you go. There's extra positivity. Chris, what's your view?
Yeah, you know, there was so much talk about the last 3 games about being our whole season, as if the season is only 3 matches long, and we got out of those 3 matches with 4 points, 5 points, so we didn't get the 9 points that everyone was looking for, but I really think that people need to sort of take a step back and look, you know, in the season as a whole, and see that it gets better in January. I hope we have some new signings, and then things will steadily improve. But I do believe, yes, there is a whole new kind of sense of optimism around the club, and it's not, you know, it's not on this level of we're the richest club in the world. I'm glad that we're not talking about that anymore, because, you know, we know that the owners are going to be sensible. They're going to spend wisely, and steadily, and not splash the cash on like whoever they want to be, like the new Robinho or something like that coming up in January 10th window. It's going to be a sensible targets, and we're going to build steadily and not you know, blow everyone out of the water with £200 million of signings or something.
Yeah, but if they want to, they can.
Yeah. If you look at all the doom and gloomers, the press keep talking about us going down. It's all I've heard all, you know, the past couple of weeks. We're going down. We're already down. We're not already down. We're 1 game out of the bottom 3.
Yeah.
We're 2 away from 11th. We're 3 away from the top 10.
Yeah.
How can you say we're already down? Anything can happen in a couple of games.
Yeah.
We can go from being where we are to being 11th or 10th.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
ridiculous.
Well, that was one of the things we spoke about, I think, on Friday night's mag, which is that, you know, one of the things I said was that the league table is deceptive. So 2 wins takes you to 10th. Yeah. So beat Leicester at the weekend and take a couple more points. You know, as I said again on Friday, shithouse away to a couple of points that are not expected. You know, and you're up to 10th and 11th. So I think there's plenty there. Richie, what's your view on the whole optimism? We have got somebody else in the green room, so we will get him on to give an opinion. So please welcome again another one of the regulars, Donald.
Hey, Donald.
You all right?
Donald.
Is he frozen?
Sorry.
He has frozen, yeah. He's there now. Donald, how are you, pal?
No, frozen.
No, yeah.
Auspicious day reintroduction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You go check your connection, Donald, and try again, mate. Okay.
Let him sort himself. Richie, what's your view on all the optimism? Is it too early for optimism, or you know, was the win on Saturday the turning of the corner? You know,
I think on the result wise, obviously it was turning the corner, but I think if you'd going back to the Brentford game, which I was looking to be there for. Even the Norwich game and stuff, you could see the positivities before the Burnley game. I think if it was, you know, bar a few silly mistakes, I'm hoping we can cut out going forward. We probably would have beaten Brentford. If it wasn't for a silly sending off in the 9th minute against Norwich, we probably would have won that, because even though we were down to 10 men, we were probably the side that should have won it, really. Norwich were awful. And I think if you look, and they went to Spurs at the weekend, they were abysmal. I can't see how Norwich are going to survive at all. they'll be one of the teams that definitely go down. And then obviously, Burnley are within the fight. And to be fair, I think we approached the game perfectly. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. It didn't matter how we approached the dogfight and what the result was. It was the result at the end of the day. And that's what we got. Now, that 1-0 win, it was our first win, our first clean sheet, which, there's a few games where we probably could have had one against Norwich if we hadn't had the luck that we did. But I think going forward now, is luck starting to possibly go our way? There's been that developments tonight that we're hearing that there's a few cases of COVID within the Leicester squad for Sunday's game. So could our luck be changing our way since we've had nothing in the first 14 games of the season? I definitely think we'll pick up some points over the festive period into the new year. So I definitely think that I think the positivities are all there. I think that I'm hoping that corner's now turned and we can just look up the table now rather than back down and in the basement where we currently are at the moment.
Okay. Donald, how are you?
Hi. Good evening, all. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice.
Yeah. I haven't seen you in a while, mate. Good to see you. So what's your view on the optimism? Are you a bit happier with things? Are you confident?
Yeah, what I feel now, what Saturday's results showed us, there's a togetherness there. It's like the Musketeers, one for all for one. And Eddie Howe has got the club after 3-4 games in charge. He gets us, and he's a southern lad, but he gets us, and that picture says it all, really. And he's not here just to eat stocky cake and drink brown ale. He wants to win football matches, and that's good to see. And he's got the tune out of players we were slagging off, a certain J7, and that's another thing. And that photo really just says it all. You didn't see that under, I'll not name it, the previous regime. So there's a togetherness there, and which is great to see.
Yeah, no, I agree fully. Talking, and we'll get to Jade and her bit next. But just, I suppose, on one of the things that floated around today, we're talking about the togetherness and everything else. There was Rob Lee was talking about some of the older players and that coming back and whatever. And there was an interview he did that apparently, and I haven't read it, but apparently has kind of been twisted by the press.
This is my deal.
Is it your piece? Is it? All right, I won't jump on it then. That's fine. I won't jump on it. But I did see that floating around, so we'll come to you in a while, Chris.
Okay.
So, Jade, what do you want to talk about? First time on. The points are going down well. So you've seen what we chat about. So what would you like to bring up as a focus point, or what would you like to put out there as a chat point for everybody? And then I will come to Cesare's point after this.
Thrown right out there in the deep end. No, I'm curious. I want to know what you guys think, actually, of the report I read the other day, where we've been linked with, obviously, James Tarkowski. We've been linked with Ben Mee. We've been linked with 300 million different players. There was a post out yesterday that we were linked with 5 players. Lloyd Kelly for one of them. Weren't any of the names that I was expecting.
No.
I was not expecting to hear that name. I was expecting to hear your Kieran Trippiers, your Lingards. Obviously, his agent's been at the club. Are we going in a completely different direction to what we were expecting to go to? Or is it just talk? Every agent was going to want to talk to us at the minute. We have the money.
I think we'll see a host of names. And again, it was something that me, Pete, and Daz and Chris touched on Friday on Loaded Mag, which was we think there's probably some deals have already been done, if not already well underway, I would think. Would I want Tarkowski and Ben Mee? Yeah, listen, they're an upgrade on what we've got, so why wouldn't you? I think any player that comes in that adds strength and depth to the squad, even if it's a lower league player, but they're better than what we've got, then I'm happy to take on all comers. Would I take Lingard? Absolutely, without fail, I would take him. So
that's not a conversation. That's an easy one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we'll see a completely different January window to what we've normally seen, where normally, with Mike Ashley, it's been, okay, we're probably not going to spend, and if we do it, it'll be lastminute.com. So I think there will be irons in the fire already. I think as much as, and this probably links in a little bit to Cesare's piece on Premier League clubs refusing to do business. Me personally, I think that's absolute horseshit. Yes. I think there is no agent or player will not want to do business with Newcastle. Even in the current position we are in, I don't for 1 minute believe that there isn't a player that wouldn't want to come to the club, because money talks, so they know they're going to get good salary. If you take Ben Mee and Tarkowski as the example, it's floated and rumored around that we're going to double their salaries. So as a normal person, and somebody says to you, listen, lads, you're earning 70 grand in Burnley, we'll give you 120 or 140 in Newcastle. It's a 3-year deal or 5-year contract. They must know at that stage, as I'm sure their agents do, there's a big likelihood, given the back end that the club have, that we're going to be in line for a cup or something within that 3 to 5 year period. So I think agents will tout players. That's my personal opinion. I think Eddie Howe will go in a slightly different direction. I think he will look to bring in experience, but I think he also strikes me as the type to bring in a complete left-sider as well that you may not even think of. But again, for me, if it improves the squad, it gives us strength in depth. We build on the bench. I also want to see the club invest heavily in youth as well. I don't want to become a club that keeps losing our youth. The Michael Carricks and all these other players that we've lost, Shearer going away and other players that left. So for me, there's all these other things as well as just getting players through the door. So that's my view. Chris, what do you think?
Yes, I think the key word in Cesare's post is rumors. These are rumors. They're based on absolutely nothing. I'm so sick of talking about this particular subject because it's just a rumor. It's not based on anything. You haven't had anyone go on the record. You haven't until you have all of the club owners say on the record we're not dealing with Newcastle. It's just a bunch of rubbish. And
Chris just killed my dreams, man. I've got a whole 11 written out here. Come on, man.
To my point, which is related points. Everything about the club has been raised. We've raised the game on the pitch, off the pitch, in the front office, in the back room. Everything has been raised. And this is a plea. It's going to fall on deaf ears, but at least we have a platform. A plea to local journalists, especially the Chronicle, raise your game. Because they have this toxic live blog, which they will claim that no responsibility for, that just churns out stories so that there's clicks, constantly new things on their live blog. And then, as you said, Martin, there was two rubbish reports from one interview with Rob Lee, where the first post said that Rob Lee had an exclusive about what the club is going to do, and then Rob Lee had another exclusive that Alan Shearer was in line for a top job. And if you just actually read the article, you make the mistake to click on the article where it's touting these bombshell reports. It's according to Rob Lee, who believes, so it's not based on anything. Rob Lee has no more connection to the owners than you and I do, probably. I mean, maybe he's met
me anyway. That's for sure.
Maybe he's met them, but they're sure as hell not going to really release anything through Rob Lee. So I love the guy. He was a great player for Newcastle, but unless he's going to actually write articles that are clearly his opinion, I just think he needs to nobody at the Chronicle needs to be his stenographer to be. Okay, let me go to Rob Lee, see what Rob Lee says, and then put out tweets or headlines that say Alan Shearer in line for top job at Newcastle, or I can't even remember what the other one was. It made me so mad that I just had to like tweet.
It was Chris. Was it not about when he was talking about Eddie Howe being under that much pressure?
Yes.
It was. That's the one I seen, that Eddie Howe had apparently been Rob Lee had apparently heard that the consortium had told Eddie Howe he won't get that much time to turn things around, which is shocking, really shocking.
I don't usually like tweet at reporters who put out that rubbish, and I don't expect a reply. But I had to, I'm a former journalist, and I had standards, and I wonder what the standards are. The Chronicle, I know they have to make a living. They have to write articles, but it's like there's so many stories you can write about. Do you really need to write a rubbish report about an exclusive from Rob Lee believes that Eddie Howe has to win now or else he's out? I mean, it's just ridiculous. So all these people that have been linked to Newcastle, I think it's mostly all rubbish. It's all coming from agents. I don't believe those five players. That's the other thing. If you're reporting that there's going to be like a summit of the club, this is from, I think the most recent article is from Craig Hope saying that, and that's where the 5 names came from. Like, what good does it do? Even if those are absolutely true, what good does it do to be the first person to put out these 5 names or any names you hear? I mean, it seems like there has to be, I'm not telling journalists how to do their job, but it seems like if I were Craig Hope, and I think he's a good lad, you're given stuff just because you're given something, or you're given a morsel doesn't mean you have to put it out there as if it's like coming from, because then everyone's always going to wonder who you got that from, and then it turns out to be like the story of in the Daily Mail or whatever. Who was it from? The guy who was reporting about Emanalo being turned it down, and then he had to come back and say, oh, well, Emanalo was offered an advisory role with an eye towards being the director of football. But by that time, his report had already been rubbished by Mirdad. And I don't want Mirdad to have to be in the position of tweeting out denials of reports. And it just seems like, that was a rubbish report. It didn't need to be printed out. It was clearly like making, he had been, Matt Law, whatever, had been sort of like the one journalist that Emanalo was talking to. If you're going to put out and say something that he turned down the job, and then had to go back, and after one of the owners says, no, that's not true, and then have to go back and say, oh, well, actually, he didn't turn down the job. He turned down the opportunity to be an advisor, which is just, so I just,
sometimes less is more. Like, it'd be better to put nothing out than put shit out.
Yes, exactly. So I would love for the Chronicle's live blog, which every time an article comes out, they will say, oh, that's not ours. It's like an automated generator. With these last 2 reports from based on Rob Lee, we're from this reporter Knight, Christopher Knight or something like that. And this is just like, rate your game. We are not this like under Mike Ashley sort of anything goes thing anymore. Everything around the club is better. So why not have the journalism and the coverage be better?
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Good one here, which we will get into, and we'll start with Dave. I'll just take him off mute. So John Askew says there, the thing with players is what we must avoid is where we want to go buying the wrong players with the wrong mentality. Look at the nonsense at Goodison. Vast amounts spent on mediocrity. Is John right there, Dave, do you think? If we got to be, do you think Eddie's going to be astute along with? I'm sure there will be an influence within the club from higher. I presume Eddie will go with a list of targets, and I'm sure there's some in the consortium that have their targets. And I certainly I've spent a little bit of time with Chris, obviously pre-takeover, and we spoke about the Saudis and the kind of people that they are, and the Saudi nation, and they like to. I think when we were talking about, what happens if we'd have got relegated last season, and I think one of the things we said was, you know, the Saudis will at some point will want to make a statement. Will want to have this kind of white horse moment where they show everyone that they're here to do business and that they mean business. So, you know, do you think Eddie will? How much of a say do we think that Eddie's going to have in who comes in? You know, is he going to get a bit of influence from above? I mean, I'm sure they spoke on players and everything else, but what's your take on it, David?
Well, I mean, what John's saying is right, because clubs, not just Everton, have made big mistakes, you know, over the years, and I think that we have to get it right. I'm sure Eddie would have, even when he was coming in, you know, when he was under discussions with the job, he would have said, if I get the job, this is what I want to do. This is where I say we're going. These are the players or the type of players that I think we're going to get. I think if we are going to get a director of football in, that's going to be a little bit difficult, because they might have different opinions, and that might cause a little bit of an issue. But having said all of that, I'm sure that, you know, if and when a director of football is brought in, they will discuss it well in advance with Eddie to make sure that him and his team are happy to work with that. And I'm as confident as I can be that Eddie Howe will have given the hierarchy a list. I mean, it may include some marquee signings. It may include the likes of Ben Mee. I don't know. I think that the good thing with the fan base is we've said that whoever we get, as long as they're better than what we've got, and it improves us and gets us out of that dreaded relegation zone, we'll be happy. And then follow on from what Chris said about, you know, and what you said, Martin, we are going to get linked with every single player from every single league in every single country. And the old saying about the press is, while let the truth get in the way of a good story. And we're going to have to put up with that now. I mean, I've got a mate who's a Man City fan, and he said he gets fed up with the amount of players they're linked with, and, you know, half them, well, more than 90% never come. But I'm convinced Eddie knows what he wants. He looked at what we have. He'll have worked out the players that he thinks he can improve. He'll have worked out the players that are not going to improve, and, you know, they'll be shipped out a sideline and new ones will come in. But a marquee signing, I don't think we'll do a marquee signing in January. I think it's the wrong time. I think we will wait until the summer to start doing that, because at the end of the day, God forbid we are relegated, it's no point in having a marquee signing. What you're going to have to do then is, you know, I'm not going to name any names, where you're going to have to say to them, right, come play for us in January. If we get relegated, we'll loan you to a Premier League side, so you keep your Premier League going, and then we'll bring you back once we come back up again. So I don't think we'll see a marquee in January. I think we'll see some good players. I mean, there's lots of talk about Cody and other people coming in, you know, and will they sell? You don't know, but money talks. And all this BS about, you know, the other teams and clubs not going to do business with us, as everybody said. And we all know agents run the game. And I think Chris was right. 2/3 of the comments that we've seen about this player and that player is being pushed out by agents. So obviously every time their player is sold that gets a pay rise, they get a percentage of that. So they're, you know, going to make sure that their player gets pushed to the more expensive teams, if you like, which we are now, thank goodness. And he or she'll get his cut, and that's what they want to do, you know. So, you know, if we, for argument's sake, if we go for Harry Kane, I'm sure Danny will say, oh, absolutely no, nah. But Kane's agent's going to say, how much is he going to get a week? X amount, better than he's getting now. Right, off you go, son. You're going to go and play with Newcastle. That's what's going to happen.
I think that's a major piece as well. And I think I think Richie might have been me and you. We had a chat on some of this a long time ago, and I said about transfers, about people like Grealish going to City, and different things like that. Agents run the game now, and business runs the game. The loyalty of somebody, a footballer, this day and age in the current game, loyalty means nothing, and contracts. Unfortunately, contracts mean nothing, and that's in a way, it's a sad state of affairs that's where we're at. But you know, Jack Grealish signed a new 6-year contract with Villa less than 18 months prior to him moving to City for 100 million. So to me, I think we'll
contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on.
No, exactly. And if a player wants to move, you know, as we've seen, I think to a degree, we've probably seen in Harry Kane, you know, as much as people will deny it, Spurs fans will talk and others in the Premier League talk, he down tools. He went in a huff, down tools, because he didn't get the move to City that he wanted. Donald.
Dave, I was going to say, just before we move on, Dave, I just want to ask you, because you mentioned there you don't think we'll go for a marquee signing. I agree with you. I don't think we'll make a marquee signing as in we'll purchase one, we'll buy one outright because of obviously the circumstances we're in at the moment. Do you think we could make a marquee signing on loan though? Because I'm just thinking someone like, obviously, Dave's been mentioned a few times, is Gini Wijnaldum. Now he's out with favour at PSG. He's not happy there. Yeah. Yes, we're probably not the sort of level he's wanting to be playing at because he's at Champions League level now and pushing for the league at PSG. But he's got an affinity with the club. Yeah. And I think, to me, I would still class Wijnaldum as being a marquee signing. And I could see someone like him coming on loan for 6 months with possibly an option to purchase in the summer. Would you think we could go for something like that, Dave, rather than just purchase?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we could. I think we, until the sort of Damocles of relegation is gone, and that won't be by the end of January. Sadly, I think we've I think I've said a couple of times that we could sign 2 or 3 players, but we could also loan 2 or 3 players. So yes, if we went for the likes of Gini, I would agree. Yeah, it's a good point.
No. Right, to know what was it you wanted to say on that? Then on the transfers in the room.
As far as the transfers, basically the way I'm seeing it, come January, we will buy the players which will do a job and will also fit into Eddie's way of playing, because he's clearly he set out how he wants his team to play, and he will buy those players that fit into that way of playing. And as regards, as you just said, big name marquee signing, at this point in time, there ain't going to be no outright purchase. If anything, we're more likely to maybe loan somebody for 6 months, being the fact that we've got the spectre of dropping into the lower tier over our heads. But as I say, should all be well and we manage to stay up, then we will see those marquee signing purchases. Another thing I would like to say is, as regards, this is obviously down the line, when it comes to buying players, you have to always remember that when it comes to blockbuster signings, they're like blockbuster Hollywood films. They're either going to be a hit or they're either going to be a total flop. Yeah, there's no in betweenies, and we've had plenty of blockbuster flops, haven't we, come through the doors at St James's, as well as some obviously hits as well. But
I think that's John's point there. He says good signings rather than marquees are the ones we should get to the order of the day. Big names don't necessarily mean big performances.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Gini come back. He's an obvious upgrade to what we've got. However, I am going to disagree that he's a marquee signing.
Yeah,
we know him. We know what he's about.
Yeah.
There's no X factor about him.
Yeah.
When it comes to, when you look at marquee signings, you think of players that are going to bring that X factor, that flair, those shirt sales. I don't think Wijnaldum is that guy, although I do think he's quality and I'd love to have him back, even if it's for the 6 months, because he's a huge improvement to what we've got. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't agree that he's a marquee signing.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. Just on the scores, there are a couple of games tonight, for those that can see, just in the background, probably get done by Sky or BT. Or there are other channels available. But Young Boys have just equalised against Man United at Old Trafford. So it's now 1-1.
All right.
There you go.
So, who we on? Who next for their point of view? Is it that we're done on? I think we touched on.
Yeah, we're down to Donald to have his say, and then we'll all chip in. Donald, what do you want to talk about, lad?
What do I want to talk about?
Although we just to interject there, somebody sent a message and said, "Can we ask Donald to stand up so they can see his shirt, please?"
There we go. How's that? There we go.
Okay, so I
hope that's...
You could have at least given us a twirl or something.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It's just got big D written on the back of it, number 9. That's all. I've seen that shirt before, so that's all.
I was actually playing in this yesterday in 5-a-side at Gateshead Stadium, so yeah, I hurt myself in the 50-50, but I'm not too bad. But other than that, yeah, what what I was going to talk about was, I'm trying to think now. What was I going to talk about? In terms of football club and brand, I think these last few weeks, I think all of us have shown that, all of us fans together have shown that what football club fans are, what football club fans are about. We follow Newcastle United because we love the club, not the brand. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a lot of these other small six, I'll call them, fans, I believe they're just there for the brand. They don't have that genuine affinity with the club. I'm talking about the new breed. Because all of us on here know our history. We know what went before. In some cases. And I think what I don't want I hope Newcastle keeps its club identity. I mean, it's great we've been taken over. What I don't want to see is that, you know, that we become like a brand where all kids are starting, I'll support Newcastle now and all that. I think I don't want to see too many plastic Newcastle fans. I want to see the genuine fans always shining through, which is what all of us are. Those that watch this channel and the other channels, I believe, are, you know, the most genuine fans in the land. Whereas the other fans I think they just support them because they support a particular team because of where they are in the league, because they're doing well. If that team drops, are they going to be as loyal? You know, so I was just going to talk about loyalty. That's what I was going to talk about.
I think you know what, with the takeover, and if we're going to be as successful as we possibly think we're going to be going forward, we're obviously we are going to pick up plastic fans, unfortunately. But I think, you know, that we've seen that with people like Man City, with Chelsea, even Man United to degree. I don't know how many, you know, I've got friends who support Man United and they're a few years younger than me, and their kids support Man United or whoever. I think what you might see is people who possibly lost the love for Newcastle under the previous regime. I think you might see a lot of them coming back again. And possibly families like that, but, you know, like, could be local people and stuff like that. I think that loyal fan base will always be there. There's people who've been through thick and thin, you know, like stuff like, I can just remember some of the stuff that happened in the 80s, which wasn't great to be part of. And then the early 90s before, so John Hall came in, and, you know, that little revolution we went through there and stuff. So we've been through some really tough times as a fan base.
We have.
Hopefully, this takeover now going forward, we won't see any of that ever again. And we've got years where we can look to people like how Man City have gone. I think that the model that they've got, I think that's something that this consortium is going to try and model itself around. They want to, you know, I've mentioned so much. They want to incorporate the community, the fans, the city, not just even the city, the region as a whole, and create new jobs and stuff like that. So, to be fair, I think, you know, we are going to get plastic fans, unfortunately. I think that comes with success. You know, you go back to you know, when Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United were dominant, and you had the Prawn Sandwich Brigade. It's going to happen no matter what team you are. You know,
true.
People follow success, then that success, not sex. People follow success, unfortunately, and, you know, people don't have the loyalty. But then there's people like ourselves on this screen and then the fan base who'll just stick with one team and follow through thick and thin.
Brian Johnson makes a good point there, in that you can't buy fans and you can't buy history.
True. Yeah, exactly.
That's a very, very good point.
He's a good guy, Brian. I've met him. Good guy.
He is.
Then says all successful teams have plastic fans. Unfortunately, you can't avoid it.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've seen them all pop up over the years, haven't we? Let's be fair. You've gone from different areas, but you wouldn't see a Man City shirts anywhere. They got the takeover. They signed X, Y, and Z, Robinho, Yaya Toure in that summer. And boom! Suddenly the City shirts everywhere.
Yeah.
Chelsea did the same. it happens.
To be fair, I had a City shirt late at night, but that was only because I liked Oasis.
That's disgraceful. That's disgusting.
I still have a City shirt. Gallagher won on the back of it. 1984, I think. One
unforgivable, lads.
Very, very, very
unforgivable.
It was worn in Main Road. One of the final gigs in Main Road. So there you go. So that's why I keep it. But
just Newcastle and my country. That's it. At least I'm loyal.
I agree.
No one says we're loyal.
Loyal to music. Okay, Richie. We'll ask you then. What do you want to have a chat about? We've got.
What I want to have a chat about.
Yeah, so we normally don't get. So we'll mix it up a little bit tonight. Everyone else has had. So you can pick something, and I'll pick something, and that'll probably bring us towards 10, 9
I tell you what. While I'm just having a think, I've got an idea what I want to talk about. Do you want to plug Black and White Army while we're on, mate?
I will, yeah. Have you got the buttons there? Or
I have, mate. I have.
Right, go on, throw them up. So yes, Black and White Army, obviously a good friend, Bronwyn. She is selling the wares on blackandwhite.com like hotcakes, t-shirts, hoodies, everything else. All of December's, I think we've got some pictures there of some of the kit. So there's some of the t-shirts. All of the December earnings and profits go to the food bank, Newcastle Food Bank. So she is selling well. The things are taken off, and hopefully, we can get her past December. But really good cause getting some money raised for the food bank. And despite a couple of early setbacks and what was a little bit of negative press for the girl when things didn't work out with 1892. We are still proud to say on this channel that she is our sponsor. And I think, is she on Loaded Mag? Is she on?
She is. I was just gonna touch on that, Martin. She is actually coming on the show on Friday night.
Do a giveaway.
She's going to do the giveaway. Yes. So if you might have seen on previous shows before, for people who haven't, though, for your benefit, as Gary became a member earlier on, Gary will now be part of the draw on Friday live for an item from the Black and White Army that Brom's donated for it. To become a member, it's just on your YouTube tab. You can follow the options. You get loyalty badges and stuff. $1.99 a month. Helps us deliver fantastic content on a weekly basis. Helps us get guests and all the time we put into it. But obviously, as a part of that, you get into the monthly draw every single week, and the draw will be done live with Daz's Wheel. Now, Martin and me have experienced Daz's Wheels plenty of time before, so it's definitely something to.
I think he's happy. He's happy that he's been able to dust it down and blow the cobwebs off it. And, he's going to be very much like Father Ted come Friday with the sequin silver jacket on, ready to do the draw. So that should be good. I'm sure
you better be wearing that now. Like my hopes are up.
He's not ready, but he knows how to take the piss. But it is good, and I think to back up what Richie said there, we obviously a lot of people that run channels. Steve Wright does some stuff, NUFC TV, Toon Review, do different bits and pieces. A lot of channels kind of open up memberships and everything else, and we took a great deal of time looking over what we were going to put up as kind of a payment. And we had quite a few people coming back going, $1.99 for what we get and everything else. Do you know what? And Richie will tell you, I've had DMs, people going, where does the money go? The money sits in an account that Chris Hall looks after. We all get to see what goes in and out. It's very upfront and transparent, and it goes to pay our StreamYard every year. We make nothing off it. It doesn't go into our pockets. We've got a bit of cash there that we've thought about doing. Possibly at some point in the new year, we might look at doing a Loaded Mag t-shirt or something like that we can put out there, and we might do a limited edition to see how they sell. But they're all different things. But it does just help us run the channel. For $1.99 a month, as you said, in particular, Daz, who puts a lot of time and effort into getting the tweets out. We all do that kind of stuff, but Daz puts massive effort into producing the slides, all the content, and everything else. So, we do put a lot of work into bringing the content out. So if you would become a member, we'd love that as well. So Richie, go on. Now that we've covered that up, what do you want to talk about, lad?
Do you know what? I want to keep it, and I'm aware of the time, right? So there's a couple of topics I wanted to talk about, but what I'm going to actually bring up now, because I think it's one we can go over pretty quickly, and that is the schedule over the Christmas, right, from now on. So I just basically want everyone's view on how many points that they think that they can get from these 5 fixtures. So I'll go first since I brought the topic up. I actually, before the news day, I actually believe we can replicate the result we got from Leicester last year, and I think we can win down there. I don't think we'll get anything at Liverpool, unfortunately. I think Liverpool are just on a roll at the moment. They just seem to be steamrolling everyone they come in contact with at the moment. So I can't see us getting anything there. Unfortunately, I can't see us getting any at City as well. I believe it'll be a tough, entertaining game because I know what our fantastic fans are like. And, you know, on our day, we've seen in the past over the last five years or so, you know, we can get a surprise result sometimes. We've beaten Man City before. We've beaten Man United before. I just don't think this time we can, because as I said, Man City are in a similar vein of form to Liverpool. I do believe we'll get something off Man United, though. I do believe we'll get at least a point. And I also think we'll replicate the result we got at Everton last year as well. So out of those 5 fixtures, I'm actually saying we'll get 7. So
7.
Chris?
Yes, I'm exactly with you. We will beat Leicester and Everton. We will draw with manure.
Jade?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I definitely think Leicester's a winnable game, especially if they're going to be missing even more players than originally thought. They're out of form, don't look good. Leicester, for me, yeah, we definitely could pick up 3 there. I think we definitely are going to pick up a draw against one of the next 3. I don't think it's going to be Liverpool. I think you're right. I think they just look too good at the moment. It's going to be City or United. I'd like a point against United. I think that you could get a point against them at the minute. You know, they don't look formidable. They have gaps. The back 4 is weak. I think we could definitely get a point there. And I think we beat Everton. So I'm going to go for 7.
Yeah.
Good. Dave?
Oh, hang on. Dave's on mute. 2 seconds.
Dave's on mute, is he?
There you go. Sorry about that.
Oh, mate. No, go on.
For the background news. Yeah, I think we'll do something at Leicester. I think Leicester are in a bit of a mess at the minute. They're not... They're certainly not firing on all cylinders. We are going on the back of a win, and as I said earlier, that positivity is there. So I think we'll get something from that. Liverpool, yeah, I agree. I don't really get anything from them, although, you know, we're daft enough to do something, but it's unlikely. Man City, the same. I definitely think we can get some result from Man United. I think even at home with the crowd behind them and, you know, everything that, you know, the 12th man syndrome, we might sneak a win. And I think definitely a point or a win against Everton. Everton are blowing hot and cold at the minute. You know, I thought they were unlucky the other night. They had 2 goals ruled off. One was a toenail, one was a shoelace. But you know what I mean. But I think we'll get something at Everton. So yeah, I'm in agreement. Yeah, absolutely.
Donald?
Donald's on mute, and he looks like he's frozen, but we'll unmute him.
No, I'm on mute. Can you hear it? Yeah. Leicester. Yeah, Leicester, we'll get something there. 3 points there. Liverpool, 0 point. Newcastle, Man City. I am going to that game, unfortunately. So that'll be probably an expensive horror show for me. Yeah, that's a loss. Newcastle in that small club from Manchester, I reckon we can get something there. And for the final game of the festive period, Everton, 3 points there. So I'm going for 7.
7, okay.
Well then, Martin, you round it off, Martin.
Yeah, I think we beat Leicester. I definitely don't think we get anything from Liverpool, as you said, Richie. I think they're just on fire. They're scoring an average of 3 goals a game. Yeah, look, I think I think we'll be passed in and out and around. Man City, for me, it depends which Man City team turns up, because they can be beatable, but they can also be awesome. So I'm hoping that the shit Man City turns up. But they're beatable on. Look. I think for me, it's dead easy. Every team is beatable on their day if we play to our best. We've got the players. We've got a finisher in Callum Wilson. Man United are definitely beatable. I'm watching them there against Young Boys. They're awful defensively. Maguire and a few others, they're shocking. If you can get round the midfield and we can hold strong, we get something. And I think Everton, the way they're playing, I think we take 3 points there as well. I don't think there's keep probably Richarlison quiet. I think we can do a job at Everton as well. I think they're misfiring. So yeah, I think I'll go 6 just in case we don't rattle anything past Man U. But I think Leicester and Everton are massively winnable games, and if we can win them and some other results go our way, we could be up to 10th or 11th. So yeah,
I think it's safe to say.
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, safe to say, like we've collectively agreed between 5 and 7 points where we think we could be realistically. So that'll put us on anywhere between 15 and 17 points. Now, I said a few weeks ago, you'd have snapped your hands off that. I think we were all saying if we can get to about 14, 15 points, the transfer window will be a lot different than if we were still stuck in the bottom 3 in single-digit points. So, a nice brief little topic there. So thanks for that, lads. And Jade, sorry. Martin, what did you want to touch on before we round off the show?
Yeah, no, I didn't really have anything. I've enjoyed myself. Listening, I think, look, we do enough talking.
Touch on Maxi in the last 3 games. That's another one. Touch on that.
Maxi. I think it's been shite. That's me personally.
3 games. He should have been fire against those teams.
Yeah,
and he hasn't.
I think he's. I mean, there's a couple of things, and we'll keep this very, very quick because we're on our hour. There's a couple of things with Maxi bother me. The first thing was the bit of the love him for Bruce when Bruce left. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
But he, like, I don't know. Look, I mean, it's this French thing for me. Like, it's like an enigma. When they want to turn it on, they can. But when they're off their game, they're completely off. Like, there's no in between. It's like a tap. It's either on or off. And that worries me. Like, I get he's going to get game, and he can do one thing, and he can set a game alight. That's not enough. That's not enough for me. It's not enough.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a more consistent player with less flair. Me personally, I think there's other players probably that we can get, and as we build the team, that I don't think he'll. He's going to get game of the minute because we've probably got nothing better. But he's too inconsistent for me. I think he's been lazy. He comes in fits and starts, but I don't think where we are currently, I don't think it's good enough. That's me. Chris?
Yeah, I have noticed conspicuously that ASM has been lacking, and it's sort of kind of come up with the rise of Joe Linton. So I would love for our sort of front 3 to be able to play all together, and then like another mystery for me is Almiron. I don't see him being in the long-term plans of the club. He does a lot of running, but I don't kind of know what else he does. He really needs to improve his finishing to be a contributor to the club. So I've got total faith in Eddie Howe. He'll figure it out, and we may not get all the pieces that we need in January, but we'll build in January, and then we'll stay up and we'll build the summer. All of us are looking forward to seeing what happens in the near future. But I think we're in good hands for now, and ASM has some game in him yet. Okay.
David, what do you think about ASM?
He's one of these players who flatters to deceive. I think, if you one of the shows the other week was talking about would you rather have him or Ben Arthur, and I think everybody said Ben Arthur. Excuse me. He's brilliant to watch. He's tricky. He obviously scares the Bridgebers out of the defenders and midfield players because he can dance past them. But for me, I don't think he's been outstanding much at all this season, which is a shame. And you're right what you say, Martin, that when he's good, he's absolutely brilliant. But when he's bad, he's awful. And I think something's happened. It's a bit like Willick, they're just not smiling. Although Willick had a better game from what I saw. I mean, I wasn't there on Saturday, unfortunately. But, those haven't played well. Whether it's getting used to the new regime, I mean, I think is Shelby said he'd have to go to bed at 8 o'clock because he was so tired after training. Well, fair enough. That's what you got to do. So yeah, it's probably that. I mean, I love watching him. He excites. He's one of the few players that can get people, including El Codgers like me, to stand up and out West and cheer him.
Jeez, he must be doing something then.
Yeah, but at the same time, he can get us up shouting and screaming, saying how we man, with it.
And I think we've had that with a few players there, but again on Mag, and one of the things I said on Friday was he has all the ability, but for me, the biggest thing he's got to change if he wants to be a success is that last 10 yards.
Yeah, it's the final ball.
There were a hatful of chances on in the game against Burnley where we were 3 players on 2, and he could have gone left or right with a pass into a clear player. Almiron one way, Wilson the other way, and he takes on the glory shot. And 9 times out of 10, he's leaning back and he fires it over the bar. So
absolutely,
I think Eddie Howe will try and get the best out of him. But for me, that final third, it's about decision making, releasing the early pass, and making the right choice. And he doesn't do any of those 3 things at the moment for me. And that's what makes him a bit of a liability at the minute.
I totally agree. I think he hasn't done that for quite some time. I think even that last season,
He's got a good pass in him because he draws players off, and keeps players open. So in that final third, he's going to do 5 dribbles and then shoot. And I'd rather see him do 3 dribbles, pass,
and a pass.
Pass.
It is that final third, but we'll see where he gets to. Right, Richie, we're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. We've kept these lovely people long enough, and probably everybody that's watching is fed up with us already.
I was going to say, just to round off, obviously, it's something that we're going to touch on Friday, myself and Mark, so we'll not say anything. Chris, scoreline on Sunday.
Oh, man.
No pressure.
Just because it's the Ben Jacobs Pete derby, I'm gonna go 3-1 Newcastle.
3-1.
Jade?
Bold.
2-1 Newcastle.
Dave?
Same score, 2-1 to Newcastle, obviously.
Yep.
I'm going 3-0 to the Black and White Army. 3-0.
Oh, positivity. So actually, and it actually leads us into a nice little thing from Chris there. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we do have another away days. Chris and Pete will be joined by Ben Jacobs for the Ben Jacobs derby with Pete tomorrow night. So that's at 8 o'clock. And then me and Martin will be back with the rest of the lads at 8 o'clock on Friday for another loaded mag where we'll discuss all things Newcastle, the weekend ahead, and possibly even all things that will have crept up in the news over the next few days. So I think, Martin, anything else that you want to say, mate?
No, but I will go with a 1-0 win to Newcastle.
We're keeping that to Friday, man.
No, I like to get mine in. I'll change my mind by Friday. But no, I'm gonna go with a 1-0, and we're gonna shithouse our way to a win. So there you go.
Does that actually mean
3 points to 3 points? However they fucking come.
Yeah,
Martin, is that you tell us your scoreline now that you're ducking out on Friday night show? Is it?
No. I'll leave that till just before the show, before I duck out. It depends on whether I've got beer left in my fridge and anything else that comes up. But I'm actually glad the show is Friday because I'm out Saturday because I'm bringing my eldest lad to the Champions Cup rugby, Leinster against Bath. So I've got tickets for the rugby, and I'm bringing my lad for a pint in Dublin. Yeah, so there you go. That's my weekend. But anyway, right, we will close off. Chris, Donald, David, and Jade, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. From me and Richie,
thank you.
Join the guys on away days as Richie said tomorrow night from I think it's 8 o'clock. Is it?
8 o'clock tomorrow night. Yeah,
8 o'clock tomorrow night, and then we'll be back on Friday night at 8 with Mag. So until then, from me and Richie, those who are watching, thanks very much. Like I said, feel free to subscribe, hit the likes, and become a member, and we'll see you back on here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and then again Friday. So thanks very much, as I said, to Chris, Jade, Donald, and David. Thanks very much for coming on, and we will see you all soon again. Thanks very much. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
See you later. Bye.